When it comes to saying never let the narcissist know that they are a narcissist, it is no joke. It really is a serious matter. So hi everybody, Deanna King here, and on this channel we all talk narcissism and codependency. So please feel free to comment your thoughts or even questions that you may have where I could possibly do a video on in the future. And also like and subscribe, please. Now that being said, let's begin. When it comes to letting a narcissist know that we have knowledge regarding them being narcissists, a lot of times the reason that we want to let them know that we know could be because we get to feel that we're finally one-upping them and that we aren't as crazy as they've made us out to be all along. But first of all, I would like to remind you that trying to one-up a narcissist will not work, ever. That is their game. They are masters at this, and they're going to fight to the death. They are relentless. While you get exhausted trying to get your point across, they energize. And this is going to keep going until you're face down on the ground with zero energy. However, most of the times the reason that we do want to let them know that we know is that we're hoping that we're going to shake them awake to the reality. We're hoping that a light bulb moment is going to take place and they're going to really start looking into it. Basically, we're dreaming. But we hope that they're going to look into the matter and they're going to start watching videos on the subject. And matter of fact, you might even be the one that's sending out the videos and the articles for them to read in hopes that this time they will sincerely get it. They're finally going to understand how they've made you feel all along. They're finally going to get that it is not okay to be verbally abusive to others. And they're going to get that all they have to do is get some counseling where everything is going to be good again. And it's normal that you would think that, because awareness of self usually leads to things like that. The thing that you need to remember though is you absolutely cannot criticize a narcissist, even when it's constructive criticism. I mean, you've been down that road over and over again. They're upset even when we're not criticizing. You need to remember all those times where you weren't even being critical, but merely asking a simple question. And for that, you paid dearly. So how did that work out for you? If they cannot handle being told something as simple as you telling them that what they said or how they spoke to you really hurt you, how in the world do you think telling them that you believe that they are narcissists is going to go down? If, for example, you say to them, I feel hurt when you belittle me and call me names, that isn't what they hear. What they hear is, you belittle me and call me names. They hear an attack. The words I feel are obsolete to them. Now, if someone started a sentence with you starting with the words I feel hurt when, that would have you standing at attention. But that's you, not them. And like I said, they feel that they're under attack. You are undermining and attacking their character. You are blaming them for defending themselves against you because in their minds, you are to blame. You are at fault for making them feel the way they do. They really believe that. And you've left them no choice but to defend. So it is not their fault. I mean, haven't they told you enough times, it's not my fault? You are the cause of their unhappiness. And if you don't want to be called names, you best conform and adjust to their priorities. And you need to appreciate them more. Hearing you say to them, you call me names, is hearing you tell them that they're bad, that they're wrong, and they absolutely cannot handle that. They can't handle it because they have the mind of a child. Parts of the brain never developed. The brain of a normal child eventually grows, mind you, but the brain of someone with narcissistic personality disorder remains unchanged. I mean, extensive research has been done on the brains of people with this disorder. And what they've discovered is that the brain lacks gray matter in the parts of the brain involved with compassion. And when I say lacking, I mean it is drastically diminished. We can compare the behavior of the narcissists regarding false persona to that of a child's behavior when they step into false personas to being very similar and for the same reasons at times. A child growing up may love to play dress up. We see children wearing mommy's high heels, their makeup, their pearls, and their lipstick. It makes them feel grown up because they look up to parents. So stepping into this imaginary world can make them feel good. But when a child is growing up in a toxic and violent upbringing, they may feel powerless. And in order to get back some of that power, they might scold their dolls harshly, for example. By stepping into the energy of the all-powerful parent, they get to take back control of the powerlessness that they feel inside. And then you have other children that may dress up as a princess, for example, and that can be harmless. But for some, it can be taken to the extreme if they experience severe rejection. For example, if that child was severely rejected and treated terribly as though they were disposable garbage, that child might step into the energy of feeling like the princess in order to cope and remain there in their minds into adulthood, expecting everyone to treat them like a queen or a princess and order others around. Then you have the children who like to indulge in the superhero personas, which again is good for a child to be creative, of course. They can step into the energy of being confident, brave, and courageous. However, if the child feels completely helpless and afraid in a toxic family environment, they may use the persona as a coping mechanism. And some traumas can be so deep where the child absolutely cannot cope that they may distort the perception and accept the false persona as the real, disregarding the helpless, afraid self. And this keeps them safe and far away from the horrible feelings that they feel in real life, because those feelings to them are unbearable. These are the very makings of a narcissist. These children grow up with a concrete belief that the false self is the real self and the real and powerless self is locked tight in a closet, never to come back out again. And I'm not saying all narcissists have had terrible traumatic childhood. Some of them are just overly pampered. But for now, I'm talking about the traumatized ones. So if you try to convince them that they are narcissists and in need of help, it's not going to go down as you hope it will. Doing so is taking away their very life, their very breath. You are taking away their power. You're taking away their courage. You're taking everything away from them because you're taking away their whole life. And they're going to fight tooth and nail to preserve that. I mean, if someone were trying to take your life, wouldn't you fight back with everything that you have? Sadly, though, in some areas, you in the situation that you're in are not fighting hard enough because the narcissist is taking your life away. And I'll address that in a bit. But for now, let's keep going with the idea of letting the narcissist know that they are indeed narcissists. So I was saying that they would fight to not let others take that away, and fight they will. They're going to panic and they're going to turn everything around and back to you. You will be the narcissist. You will be the one that needs help. You are the unstable one. And the thing is it won't be merely these words that are thrown at you one time. It's going to be thrown at you over and over and over and over again. I cannot say the word over enough. The penalty for this is going to last long after the relationship is over, because here come the flying monkeys. More so, there's going to be other forms of punishment that I'll explain through my own experience. I too used to think that if I gently and lovingly made him aware of his disorder with this last narcissist in my life, once I had an understanding of what NPD was that he would have this aha moment and realize that all he'd have to do is take a look deep within, get some help, and voila, he'd get to a place of connection, intimacy, peace, and joy in our relationship. I guess I didn't really have that much of an understanding as I thought I did. But I never did get a chance to talk to him about it because he beat me to the punch. What happened is that he snooped into my nightstand, and yes, they do snoop, and he found a book that I had been reading. The book was called Why Does He Do That by Lundy, Bancroft, with the subtitle that read Inside the Minds of Angry Men, or rather Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men. Excellent book, by the way. From there, he started looking into my computer along with my history, where he discovered all of the research I had been doing on narcissistic personality disorder, courses I had been taking on how to heal codependency, along with a course that I had taken on the subject to use in my coaching. Now, I had witnessed his tantrums before, but these new ones were over the top. From that day forward, he was on a mission of researching everything out there regarding the disorder. He found a woman whose mission is to focus on men whose partners are narcissists, and he started emailing her asking her for help regarding me. So he would send me all of these videos of her describing narcissists, trying to convince me that I was the narcissist. And later on, he went deeper into the research to discover other personality disorders like borderline personality disorder that would be easier to convince his flying monkeys, because the fact that I would lack compassion would be a bit hard to convince those who know me. So now, with my new diagnosed affliction, neighbors were no longer speaking to me, yet treating him extra nice, along with friends who turned out to not be friends at all, but rather flying monkeys. He even went so far as to take a book on PTSD from Pete Walker that I had, and he used it against me over and over and over again. He would drag me into these 3 to 4 hour circular conversations regarding our relationship issues that he was supposedly working on, which of course was a guy's. They're laughing at us behind our backs. And although I knew that it was going to be the same song and dance, I was unable to remove myself from these long hauls, because if I walked away or if I refused, the vengeance would go another way. So I would sit there and listen. I would listen for long stretches of time so that he couldn't tell me that he wasn't being heard or that I wasn't listening, which is something that he was constantly accusing me of. After some time, I would finally feel that I could have my say, but every time that I would open my mouth to say something, I would be stopped in my tracks with being told that I wasn't playing by the rules according to Pete Walker's book. And an example of that was me saying that it isn't okay that he yelled at me and verbally abused me, and that would turn into me not playing by the rules because I was shaming him. So his knowing that I was aware that he was a narcissist cost me flying monkeys, friends who turned their backs on me when I needed them the most. I was given dirty looks by neighbors. It cost me circular conversations that he insisted on pretty much weekly, because rather than provoke fights once a month, he was now provoking fights every week, until the end where it was every day. I went through severe stress where I ended up with digestive issues and I gained 30 pounds. Every issue I'd ever had with him intensified and multiplied. From his removing the doors in the house in the middle of winter because I was accused of taking his keys, which I had not, to being locked out of my own house again in the dead of winter for hours. No coat, no phone, no car keys. All because I stood up to his bullying me. I told him he was a coward for picking on people smaller than him. The contempt in his eyes became permanent. My life went from being in a stressful, toxic relationship to being a total nightmare. I could no longer think straight. I could no longer see the light of day. And I thought I was the type of person that was so strong I could handle anything. So, is it a good idea to let the narcissists know that they are narcissists? From my experience, that is a really bad idea. They're not going to accept that. And I know that some of you think that your partner is different. I know, I thought that too. However, it's your choice. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but do be prepared. Now, a while ago, I talked about how the narcissists are going to fight for their lives and how they'll fight to keep their false persona alive and well by tucking away the part of themselves that is afraid, ashamed, and powerless. But what about us? Haven't we also been tucking away our own fears and traumas? And haven't we created our own personas by people pleasing or perhaps becoming workaholics, for example? We want the narcissist to go for help, and we complain that they aren't. We believe that all they initially would have to do is to look within. And yes, that would be really helpful for them. But what about us? Are we looking within? Are we taking a look at our fears, our distorted beliefs that have caused us today to attract people who exploit and belittle us and never give us the support that we deserve as human beings? And yes, we are attracting them to us. This isn't just some random event of an unfortunate situation here. We live in a three-dimensional world. Everything is and has frequencies, from colors to sounds to all your senses. And that also includes your thoughts and your feelings. Likes. So if you're vibrating at a lower frequency, such as fear, you will attract to you a person of like frequency. And narcissists are people that are full of fear. They're just hiding it. And yet in a paradox, there's this magnetic field where opposites attract. If you place two magnets with south poles, for example, they're going to repel each other. Now take a north and a south pole and they come together. So here you have the narcissist that has zero compassion, and you on the other side, the codependent, filled with compassion. Compassion for them, but you do lack compassion for self. But the bottom line here is that you might pack your bags at the end of the day and end the toxic relationship, but down the road somewhere awaits another. We want the narcissist in our lives to change. We want solutions to our relationship issues, but we are just not going to find it in attempting to fix the narcissist. We will find it in attempting to fix us. And if we can work on our own issues, we are going to be able to find better relationships. Perhaps even the person that we're currently with, because who knows, the person that's watching this might have the partner in their life that has high narcissistic traits without being a full-blown narcissist. But regardless, when you change the frequencies within you, your outer world will also change. Either you're going to attract someone new in your life that treats you better, or the person that you're with is going to begin to change, or you simply are going to lose the attraction towards that person. But do remain aware of the fact, though, that if you're dealing with someone who has NPD, the chances of change are slim to none. So please don't let that be the hope that motivates you to change. Go for changes for you. Don't worry about letting the narcissist know that you're onto them, but rather be onto you. And I say that with love. So bye for now, and we will see you in the next course.